Put your punctuation, remember? And then you stop with this paragraph. Go in and write your title, your name, and your date. And then we're going to do something else really quick. A long title, huh? Okay, you can stop. Now hold on, I didn't say close the book though. 1 second. Layla! You don't have to write anymore, but we're going to do something. It'll probably take about 5 minutes and that's it. Since both of you are working on your assignment, neither one of you knows the place that you're writing about. So, how fun would it be to read a little bit of each other's stories? Do you think that would be fun?
Yeah, but we never visit mountains.
Okay, shh, don't tell them.
Fine.
So do you think that would be fun? Because you're writing a story, you're telling everyone a story.
Yes.
And you think it would be fun to read a little bit of each other's stories? And then imagine what they might write next, because we don't know what the next part will be, the middle part of the story. Okay, switch notebooks.
Why?
So you can read each other's story.
No! I can't read what's a regrow.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't. Lily, you wrote, I'd like visit.
Oh, well, you know what? Thank you for proofreading. This is just the first stage. That's okay. Thank you for paying attention to that. Will you make the proofreading mark right there? What you have to do when you have to add a word, what is that mark?
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You don't want him to add the proofreading mark?
Wait, I don't know how to write that, so you do it.
So that means just you have to add a word. That's all. So when you go back and you go to your rewriting, you will correct it. It's okay. That's the whole idea of this. Because I figured that you guys would catch each other's...
Which is the visit to...
Shh, quietly, and then we'll talk about it in a minute. Go ahead and finish reading.
Lily, your N is backwards.
Okay. Thank you for notating that.
Why aren't you reading it?
I think that's just the way she writes. Are you? He's probably finished. Are you finished?
Yes. Read all.
Okay, now, oh, you smiling, huh? This was a good idea. Okay, so who wants to share first about their thoughts? What did you think about Layla's story, or what did you think about Tariq's story? The beginning.
This the beginning.
This is the beginning because you're going to write more.
Layla, this is the beginning.
This whole thing is the beginning because you're going to write more. You're writing a story, a little short story. So what do you think?
When we're done, we're gonna write here.
On the back? I don't know if you want to write on the back. You're telling a story.
No, when we're done with the other ones.
Oh yes, you'll write some more. We'll write plenty of stories. So what do you think about his story? Where does he like to visit?
Why? We need a lot because I like this.
You like writing? Okay. Yes.
Oh yeah, because now we had a lot of paper in here.
You need a lot of paper because you're writing a lot of stories. That's what you're saying?
Yes, I like it. 70 sheets.
So do you think you can write that many stories?
Yes. We have to take one at a time.
One at a time. That's right.
We can't use all the paper up.
Well, you can. It's okay. Listen, as long as you are including the details that I wrote on the board, you'll have interesting stories. Okay? So, Layla, what do you think
I'll be right back.
about his story?
He said he wished to visit South America.
Okay. And what else did he say? That's
He'll fly on a plane.
Okay. When did he wants to fly on a plane? That's how he's going to travel. That's when is he going to go there? When does he want to go to South America? Go back and reread it.
What?
Right here, look. What does it say? He tells you right here. I'd
like to win.
Now, I think he left out a word right there. So guess what?
What?
He should say, I'd like to visit or I'd like to go. Here.
Yeah.
Make the proofreading mark right here. So that he knows.
Is it an A?
The
U?
The V, the upside down V. Just right here. Up, down. See, he doesn't know that, okay? He did the same thing that you did. I just let you sit here and write. So he doesn't know that. He didn't realize that he could have added another word. So he'd like to go when I
am what?
He'd like to go when he's an adult. Okay?
Really?
So, Tariq. And so what did he say? He'd like to go on the plane.
And
wait a minute. He'd like to go. Who is he going to go with? What did he say? What did he write? By. Sit up.
By myself.
Very good. So he'd like to go by himself.
He keeps copying me.
No, he wasn't even in the room, Layla. He didn't copy you. He had no idea. So he says that, oh, I see one more thing. Capital. What is the proofreading mark? I. We talked about rewriting. So he knows he needs to capitalize that. So this is just the first draft.
Oh, there's a little line.
So that means he needs to capitalize I.
Really? He has to capitalize it.
Tariq. Found another thing that when you do your rewrite,
Yeah, look.
you will correct
That
it.
says, I
So,
like to win. I like to visit when I'm an adult there.
okay, calm down. You could have added another word. Okay, so Tariq wrote, I'd like to go to South America. I'd like to, it should say visit, when I am an adult. I will visit South America by myself. I will go on a plane. I have never been on an airplane, so I am excited. Very nice spacing. Very nice handwriting. I like how you took your time. Now, tell me about Layla's story. What did Layla tell you? Hold on, Layla. Don't.
She'd like to go to Canada and visit the mountains. Yay! Canada!
How is she going to get to Canada? Did she tell you?
No, look!
In an airplane.
Yeah.
And what did she say about an airplane?
I will fly on it
Airplane. Read the sentence.
when I am 8 years old.
So she wants to go when she's 8. Read this sentence. I
Will fly on it.
right here. I
Will fly.
have.
That's making me laugh.
Okay. I have never been.
I have never been on an airplane.
So she said, what?
The same thing I wrote.
Isn't that interesting? And you were not even in the room.
No,
But that's very interesting.
You said you were going to go to South America.
Yes, but he also said he was going on a plane.
Wait. I was trying to pick Australia. Layla.
Next story, Layla. Next story.
Layla. Okay.
Come here. Are you being extra?
Layla and Canada, they're bears.
Okay.
Bears
So,
don't eat people.
listen.
They only eat fish.
For
Yeah.
listen.
They catch fish in water.
Y'all just ran on with the conversation, huh? And the lesson. Self-taught. I love it. Okay, so from now on, since you have started your story,
It hurts.
okay, you will write, I think this is probably about 5 more sentences that you will write. Check this out.
A cat is eating
And
food.
so you get on an airplane. Tell me in your next paragraph maybe what an airplane is like. And then you're going to talk about what you see once you get to your destinations. You know, destinations, the places you're going to travel. Because it's, because I'm not going, right? You're going by yourself, and I want to read all about it. So you're going to write me this story to tell me what you all saw, what you did, what you ate, how did it look, okay? So you have to talk and describe things to me, okay?
Okay.
So,
Hey, wait! I want to ask something. Why don't we eat American food?
you do eat American food. Calm down.
Oh.
So,
Layla, we are in America. Really? Yes. No, we're in North America. North America is America. No.
yeah, I think
It's in Texas.
your ands, look, you do your ands the way Tariq does his R's. It's not really wrong, but the way it looks like it's wrong. Take your time and write it.
No, Layla,
So-
North America isn't in Texas.
So you're going to Canada.
Is it? Layla said North America is in Texas. Is it?
Texas is in North America. You guys know that. All right, so.
I'm not smarter to you.
No, you're smarter too.
Yay.
Is it? So, like I said, listen, Layla. Think about. And then tomorrow when you come back to sit down and write, you will think about your experience on the airplane. Did you eat on the airplane? Did you meet people on the airplane? What did you do on the airplane? Did you sleep? You want to talk about your experience? Use your imagination.
Oh yeah, you can sleep on the airplane.
And talk about it. Couple sentences.
Yeah, you can tell people about it, and read them what kids write, and tell them all about it. Yeah, tell them to all the kids.
So did you talk about, I think you told me that you're going to go by yourself. You did, but you didn't write it.
Yes,
So.
I know. I forgot to write.
Okay, that's fine. You can go back and do it. That's no problem at all.
Oh yeah, I'll write another story about that.
You'll write another story about it?
Yeah, not the same one.
So, let's see. Over the week, we will get these stories written. And then next week, I'll give you a brand new topic. And you can write a brand new story. And this time, it might be a little different from this one. I might have you write about something that you can...
I decided to go to Oklahoma.
You want to decide to go to Oklahoma? Okay.
Yes. We have to go to
I would like...
place.
No, I would like to have you write me a how-to. So, how to make... Are you mocking me?
I don't know what that is.
Listen, how to make something. How to make a sandwich. So, you have to explain to me the way...
We already know how to make sandwiches.
Okay, well, good. That's great. I want you to write it down. Tell me. That'll be your next story. Okay?
I should write...
You're going to write about how to make a sandwich. Like, I don't know. What do I have to do first? What do I have to do second? What do I have to do third? Okay? So that'll be the next thing. That's called descriptive. Okay? So that'll be next.
The next later, can we write it?
Mm-hmm. Next week.
Yeah.
And you just excited, huh, on this writing thing. This got you really excited.
Yes.
Are you excited? Or if you don't want to do a sandwich, tell me how to. It has to be in how to do something.
I want to do banana splits.
Okay, you can tell me how to make a banana split.
Chocolate.
You can tell me, and I have another one already planned.
Banana pudding. No.
You're going to tell me
ice cream pudding.
some directions how to get somewhere. Like, I don't know how to get there. So I'm going to tell you how to leave the library and get to your room. And you have to write it down. And then I'm going to read the directions that you tell me.
Oh, no, we don't.
I'm going to read what you tell me, and I'm going to walk the directions that you tell me just to see if you can get it. If you lead me to the right place.
Yeah, but you have to you have to take our books so you know where we are.
I will take this spiral and I will read what it says. If you say walk 5 steps to the step, walk up the stairs and go, and I'll follow direction. Left, right, up, down. I will follow the direction.
There's no word spiral.
No, but that's what this is called.
It's a spiral?
Yes, that's what it's called.
That's the word spiral.
No, she was looking for the word spiral on the notebook. It's not on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you are all done with this. And we'll have something else actually to do besides this. This is a story, but you do have some more language arts to work on. So,
I'm going to write a story down here later.
Was this fun? You like
yeah.
it? Was?
Yep.
You like this part of schoolwork?
Yeah.
Easy?
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit at a time makes it easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Why smiling? Oh, Trick, I know you don't want to do. You don't like doing work.
I do.
Yeah, but you don't. But sometimes you don't like doing work.
But does he do it?
Yeah, but sometimes he doesn't.
He says he doesn't, but then he does it, right?
Yeah.
I think you all say that sometimes. But if you do a little bit at a time,
And then we'll be done.
you'll be done. All right.
But we have to do a lot of work, like a school, to go out for recess.
Put your spiral in your in the work box. Watch my water. Alright, so this is what I did. So notice there's not really much of a prompt other than the title, because I have worked them grammatically this past year to know how to do this. So that is, thus far, you know, they're able to produce paragraph at a time, if that makes sense. And you heard it from them. They're excited. They have the capability, given what I have worked with them with over the past year. So, just a little bit of direction, right? I just asked you who you're going with, what you're going to do, and that's the part you're going to write next, or what you'll see. You already talked about when.
Does that stand for who you're going with?
Mm-hmm. So, there you go. Or you may be dismissed. You may be dismissed.
Okay. What does that mean?
You may leave.
Okay, come on through.
Now that's class dismissed.
Their Bible. This is where everybody is working, and I work with them individually sometimes, and sometimes we'll do it as a group. But their main reading, one-on-one, we sit and read. And this takes us through the week. Sometimes it happens in a day. It just depends. We read and we discuss it, and they give me their ideas and opinions just the same as what they did here. It's their own, you know, understanding, and we just converse over it. And I make sure they understand what they read. And I make sure they understand what they read. So that is language arts. At least the writing aspect of it. And if you all are following on Instagram, I shared a little bit of history for the next 3 months, because I'm giving myself grace because of the read alouds. We already are in 2 chapter books, and yeah, I just need grace. So next 3 months, you can check on Instagram to see where we are, what a couple of resources we are using, and yeah, talk to you guys in the comments. You thinking about it? You finished?
Yes. How do I write the word hotel? Hotel.
Very good. You could have got that one. And sound it out. Get your punctuation.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so now we're up to the part where you landed. We talked about what you saw on the airplane and what you did. And you got off the airplane, got your bags, taxi to take you to your hotel. So tomorrow you will write about what happens after you leave your hotel. Where are you going? So you're off on your journey in the faraway place now. You're actually at the faraway place. So you have to think about all the things that you would do. And that'll be the next portion of your story. Let me see. You got a good run. You'll be on to the back in a few minutes. This is good. Look at that smile. Good business. Nice long story. You can write a book.
No.
Yes. You can write a book. Look at there. I thought, didn't you tell me you were using all the pages? You wanted to write stories in all the pages?
Yes, but that has to go with blank paper.
No, you can do it on line paper just fine.
Mom, in the morning, can we?
You do what?
Can we write a map one and a maze one?
Okay, that'll be the next story. After we finish this story up, I will give this about maybe tomorrow, depending on how much you write. About 2 more days and you should be done with this part, with this story. And then you just have to make your corrections.
Be done on Wednesday?
Yes. And it depends on how much you write tomorrow. If you want to finish the story, you can finish the story tomorrow. And then you just have to reread it and make your corrections.
You said reread.
Yes, reread it. Proofread. And make all the corrections.
Reread it.
And then you can go on to the next story. So what do you think about the assignment so far?
Wait, I have to go get the
Layla, what do you think about the assignment?
I think it was good.
It's a good assignment?
Yeah.
Do you think this will help other children?
Yeah.
Yes? Do you think other children can write stories just like you?
Yeah.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Is it hard to do?
No.
So what did you do to what did you do to write this story? What have you been doing?
I don't know.
Did you listen to the things that I told you, the instructions?
Yeah.
And you wrote a little bit at a time, right?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't hard, right?
No.
Okay. So it was very fun to do this, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think? Where's Tariq? Come here. Okay, come here.
He was behind you.
Sit down. Talk to me a second. Because I'm pretty sure some kids may look at this. So what did you do to write this story? Come here. Sit up.
You can say it.
What did you do?
Work hard. I followed your instructions.
You worked hard, but was it hard?
No.
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 Right? So it was easy. You listened to what I told you, right? You followed the directions I put on the board?
Yeah.
And you just wrote, right? So, let me see. Do you think that you could write this story in one day? Do you think it would be harder or easier to write it in one day?
I think I can write the whole story in one go.
You think so?
Yeah.
What do you think, Tariq?
No, because she wouldn't be able to write it in 2 seconds.
Well, she didn't say 2 seconds, but do you think it's easier the way I broke it up?
Yes.
You write it over a couple days rather than one day at a time?
What do you write right there?
Rainbow words, you write those words. Okay? So that's something that the boys and girls might want to know.
I think I would be able to finish it at 12 o'clock p.m.
Okay. So if you sat down later on, you might write your story. Because you have written a lot of stories in one day. Really quickly, with no help. You have. But you think this way is easier to break it up. And write a couple of sentences a day, right?
Yeah.
Couple of ideas at a time.
Until remember we read each other's stories. And well, I think I could finish my story at midnight.
So you liked the part about reading each other's stories?
Yes.
You did? What was the best part about that?
The best part was when I went to the hotel.
I like finding the misspelled words.
Oh, okay. So you like finding the misspelled words on Layla so you could help her out on her story. What did you like about helping him out? Making sure he had everything correct, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. And knowing that everybody is not perfect, right?
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes when they're writing and when they're doing things. So he wrote, but he wasn't perfect. He had some mistakes. So that's the big thing. It's okay to have a mistake because you can go back and fix it. That's part of writing. You have to learn.
What are you doing?
So yeah, I think
Using
this
my
will
head
really help
vacuum.
moms and dads and all the boys and girls that are going to learn how to write or have been having a little trouble.
And we can read our stories to them.
Yes, we'll at the end read the stories to them.
Yes.
And this will help them have some courage, some faith.
And so they know they can write it too in their spirals.
Yes.
Layla, we
Some
wrote the
confidence,
same thing. See, I was
some
down and you're
patience,
down.
determination.
Mom, Turkey's coming me.
No, I wrote that first.
No, I wrote it first.
Okay.
I go slow.
So we'll finish up tomorrow, and that way I'll have you present your stories.
A worm.
A line and a T.
That's all right. Keep the table. There, you have a nice 1.5 page story when you didn't realize it would be so interesting. So you ready to read your stories to each other?
No.
No.
I am
Worm.
Or she can read. Do you want to read your story? Can you read your story, or she'll read your story?
She will.
She will read your story? Okay. Because I would like you to read at least this draft so that all the other boys and girls that are watching can hear your stories.
Okay, but I can't understand those big words.
Yes, you can. Go ahead and finish your sentence. Your last sentence. And don't forget to write your end.
The end is right there.
Very good. Okay, when he rewrites it, he's gonna finish it
He's gonna rewrite
to the bottom and then go to the back. But it should still equal out. Sit up. To be the same thing. It's just the way you wrote.
No, Lil, I did that
So
I could finish mine.
he would have enough. He would when he does the rewrite.
That's why I say it. Which far away place would I like to go by Tariq? I'd like to go to South America. I'd like to visit when I am an adult. I will visit South America by myself. I have never been.
Wait a minute, you skip. I will.
I will go on a plane. I've never been on an airplane, so I am.
Don't throw paper.
So I am excited.
There.
When I looked out the window, I saw rainforests, rivers,
And some
were small. I went to visit the captain in the co-pilot.
in the cockpit.
In the cockpit. When I got off, I took my suitcase and had...
Not and. I. Let me see the period. I know it's difficult to read.
I had to wait for a taxi to take me to my hotel. It looked like Trey copied me.
Little tricky to read someone's writing, but that's okay. Okay, finish the story.
He copied me a
Well,
little.
but you were not in the room together. Finish. Read the last. Read the last part, or the middle part.
I visit the
Visit.
I visit.
Visited.
I visited the amazing.
What is that word?
Oh, I am excited.
Where's my there.
When I looked out the window, I saw rainforests, rivers, and then clouds. Some were big and small.
And
Some were small. I went to visit the captain in the co-pilot.
in the cockpit.
In the cockpit. When I got off, I took my suitcase and had...
Not and. I. Let me see the period. I know it's difficult to read.
I had to wait for a taxi to take me to my hotel. It looked like Trey copied me.
Little tricky to read someone's writing, but that's okay. Okay, finish the story.
He copied me a
Well,
little.
but you were not in the room together. Finish. Read the last. Read the last part, or the middle part.
I visit the...
Visit.
I visit.
Visited.
I visited the amazing...
What is that word?
I visited the Amazon River. It is the second longest river, the best South American food I ate was
Dulce de leche.
Dulce de leche, biscuits,
and tamales. Or tamales at
the end of the week. I flew back home. The end.
All right. Next story.
Which faraway place I'd like to visit? Boy, Layla. I'd like visit mountains in Canada. I want to Canada.
I want to go to Canada when
I am 8 years old. I will fly on an airplane. I have never been on an airplane. When I saw big fluffy clouds, I ate blueberries on the airplane. I watched a movie after we landed.
I got
to go
meet. I got to meet.
M-A-E-T.
We'll fix it. That's the rough draft. Meet the
pilot in the cockpit. I got off the airplane and picked up my suitcase. I had to
it should be wait for a taxi
to take me to my hotel. I want to see the Rocky Mountains here, where
there
were lots of trees. The Rocky Mountains are in Colorado.
They stream down. Flip the page.
It was.
She did her research. It was what?
It was beautiful.
Slow down. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
I met new people
and ate new foods.
I felt
happy. I was on
top
of
the
world.
The
Canadian food I ate was poutine cookies.
Poutine, that's a comma. And molasses
cookies.
She's starting to erase it.
At the end of the weekend.
At the end of the week. What were you going to say? I packed my bag and flew home.
You ate at the end of the week? No.
All right, so you have to finish that line.
I'll finish it.
And then,
I'm getting
okay.
tired.
I know. So, again, I want to ask you, was it a little difficult to read somebody else's work, their rough draft?
No.
They had a couple of mistakes.
Tariq said yes.
He said yes.
But
did her?
They had a couple mistakes.
Okay. Did his story make sense to you? Did it make sense? Was it in order? He told the details in order, so it made sense.
Yes.
Did it make you feel like you went to South America?
Yes.
Did her story make you feel like you visited Canada?
No, I hate bears.
Okay, we're not talking about bears. But did you get a good picture of Canada?
Yes.
From what she described in her story?
Yes.
So it was a very good story?
Why do you hate bears? I like bear cubs because they're cute.
So this was I
want to visit the real Canada, not the fake one.
You want to, okay. So you learned a lot. You did a little bit of research to find out what was in Canada, right?
Yes.
So you can get your facts down, right?
Yeah.
Because if somebody else had read your story, like he said, the Rocky Mountains, but if somebody else had read your story and they knew and they had visited there or they lived there and they say, wait a minute, that's not there. You did your research. So you knew a little bit about what you ate and what you visited, what attractions you visited. So writing involved some research, didn't it?
Yes. Yes.
And then?
And then that was the end.
That was the end?
Yeah.
Okay. So, is this different from other stories you have written?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's different from that, but it's not the same.
Okay. But it wasn't hard, was it?
No.
No.
Wait, all of that story is the same.
No, not all of it. Some of the parts.
This part.
You guys had similar ideas a little bit. Scoot up. What is that face? So the last thing you have to do is to rewrite. And what's going to happen is I am going to, and for all the parents watching, what's going to happen is
Do we have to clean up the table?
yes, but not now. We will pick this up tomorrow. What's going to happen is they have proofreading marks
100.
on their pages, and they're going to reread it while they rewrite it. But my suggestion is no red pens. That is very intimidating. No red pens, okay? I let them use pencil, and I will just use a normal blue or black pen and just kind of mark off what it is that I want them to correct. But as far as this, because it's in a spiral, what you should do is make a copy of it so that they don't have to tear the page out. Make a copy so that when they rewrite, they will have the copy. You can make the corrections on the copy after you copy it, and that way they can go ahead there. But you don't want them to tear this out. You want to leave the rough draft and save the rough draft forever also.
Get in here.
Okay, so that's my little tip to you. That's how we do it. I make copies of it. That way when they rewrite anything, that's just my little tip. Make a copy of it so that they're not flipping back and forth, or you're not sitting there dictating, because that's going to diminish the process. You know, it'll prolong it, and nobody wants to do that, and then the page will be all wrinkled. So just make a copy of it.
Mom, when you're 13, what do you do when you get a job?
You get a job. All right.
What else
So
do you do?
if you all have any more questions, feel free. Don't hesitate to ask the kids questions. Have your kids ask the kids questions. They don't mind answering questions, right?
Yes.
Because some kids might want to ask you some questions.
We don't mind.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So,
But the main things, they say, tell your parents.
that's right.
No,
So-
we have to tell their parents
Okay.
what they say.
Well, they're not going to say mean things. All right. So the one thing, last thing I want to talk about, you guys can go. You're free to go.
Outside.
On
Let me see what time it is.
corrections.
It's 4:28.
You want to get them, and this is not bad because it's a rough draft.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
They're done. You want to get them to stay within the margins. You want to make sure that it's legible, it's neat, okay? That was the reason for breaking it up, and they didn't write but a couple of sentences a day. I'll get it in a minute. And you want to make sure everything is grammatically correct. All the words are in place. And that is pretty much how you grade it. Okay, don't try to, make sure they, the words are descriptive. They've got enough verbs and adjectives and things. That was, what I started with on the board, which is not on the board anymore, but they know, the who, what, when, where. I just kind of guided them that way so that they had all the nouns, verbs, pronouns, all of those things incorporated. It just gives them a good visual. There are several different ways that you can do this. It's a long process. I'm going to show you one last thing in a minute, but when you first start, I don't even recommend using a whole lot of different methods, graphic organizers, brainstorming, because this right here is new and you don't want to overwhelm the child. You want to get them to do this, and this is very organic, very natural. They're just going to tell you a story. I recommend starting with a narrative, because a narrative is very easy for them to detail. There are different genres of writing, but narratives are very easy, especially for early writers. So that's another tip. Get them to, hey, tell me a story. Just as if you were just talking to me, tell me a story. That's what you're going to do with them. And they're going to write all the details in order. It's their story. They're telling you the story, their adventure, their, you know, their whatever. So, like I said, narratives are very, very simple. I know earlier in the video you heard me talk about another thing. They're going to write me a map. They're going to write directions. So, I'll talk about that in just a second. I'm going to show you the different genres. Lastly, and I talked about the no red pen. I don't even use red pen on my high schoolers. So, same process. Alright, now, we're doing this without textbook. But, what makes for, because I talked about curriculum not really having anything to do with writing. They, you know, curriculum writers will write a writing program, but it's written from an educational standpoint, not a writer standpoint. So, that is why most parents avoid it as much as possible, because it really doesn't make sense. But they're in a lot of curriculum, if they are really well written, you will know, you will have some great tips. This is their writing, their grammar, the right source. And this is in a couple of grade levels that we have. But in here, they went over last year all the ways to write, okay? They worked on some things, gives you traits and things like that. And talks about the organization, the proofreading, make sure that, you know, they want to make sure that when they write things, all the events that they're writing actually belong in the story. You know, sometimes they add extra things, and that's where you go back and revise it. Improve your word choices and things like that. Okay, so they know all about that. We worked through that. You guys really didn't see all of that, but we worked through that because they already know how to do it. Okay, so there's a rubric. You can look for rubrics. This one is actually, you know, pretty. This is really decent. Okay, rich details, arranged wonderfully. The words help make the writing truly memorable. All the conventions are correct. Those type of things. That's a 6. A 1 is there's no main experience. There's no beginning or end. There's no attention been given to the word choice. Help is needed. That means they're constantly using the same words. They're not being descriptive enough. You want to add those adjectives and those verbs. Help is needed to make corrections. Okay? If they are, most of the time they will start here, and that's fine. But you want them to work this way. So it may take them a while to get from here to there. This is basically fill in the blank, a basic story prompt. That's what most people do, and they never make it past that with their kids. It is possible, okay? You have to work it. Again, this is just a guide. Okay, and then you get expository writing. These are reports and recipes, invitations and directions, classroom reports, things like that. So, writing of the directions, map directions, that's what they're getting ready to do next. Okay, very important. I will take that notebook and walk the direction that they wrote to make sure that they wrote clearly. And let me go on over here. Again, get your rubric. Then you get persuasive. A good one is, you know, this is opinion writing. Everybody does this on curriculum and halls. You're persuading people to purchase these things and use these things because they're the best. You know, you found them at, you know, Target, dollar store, dollar spot, you know. Same thing. So you're going to persuade. You may get them to pick a food. Persuade, you know, somebody to like, hey, we like, I don't know, what is it? XYZ candy, you know, or fruit. We don't do candy, but, you know, because, and you want them to expand on it. Okay. And then the next one is, let's see, Response to literature. Okay, so they're writing something in response to something they read. These are generally kind of the harder ones because, you know, they have to read the book. There's more detail. So this is what I would consider, and that's why it's further, okay, in the genres. Leave it for the middle towards the end once they've learned. It's going to take them a little bit longer to get there. Okay, give you a little visual of what's on here. They're writing characters, they're writing titles, they're underlining things, and if they haven't learned this, don't give it to them, okay? Their curriculum did an excellent job working through here, and they had the little, you know, the work text and everything. So they're able to work through here. Non-fiction books. All right. Comparing fiction books. We're comparing two stories. Not very long, but just enough. Same thing with poems. Have your creative writing. Your own stories, your own plays, your own poems in your own special way. It's kind of a little map. The who, what, when, where. Add the how. You want to get them to talk about feelings and things like that. That's what really makes for a nice write. How they felt. What they saw. That type of thing. Those things should be in the middle. Again, just a guide. It did a great job, and I don't have to use anything else in the way of a writing curriculum because this did it. I knew it would. I was familiar with it, and so the two little ones will work through the same. All right, now this is their spelling connections. This is actually my resource book. They find some helpful information if you have a solid spelling curriculum as well. Like I said, it's just a guide. This is not a teaching, writing curriculum or anything. But, you know, spelling goes hand in hand with writing. I have writing rubrics. Okay? Narrative. So if I were to, you know, need to use this, I can use this. So look for something like this in your curriculums. If you don't see anything like this, this is, a lot of times it's in teachers' manuals, and if you don't purchase the manual, you miss out on a lot of important things, and that's also what makes teaching difficult, because you don't have the proper tools, and then you don't realize that you're not even equipped. You're not fully equipped to teach it, and so it makes it so much harder. Okay, and then we have descriptive. And then we have expository. And then this last one is the persuasive. Okay. So, and all of these things are also taught in their spelling program, so that they are taught, that they understand the reason why they are doing the exercises, the lessons every day, every unit in their book, is so they can get through this writing process after they have learned how to spell. So it makes sense, if the program is not working them to get to this point, it's not the program for you. If, you know, if that's what you're looking for. I think all programs, all curriculum have a purpose, and if it's not going to produce the results that you want, it's not the right program. Is basically what I'm trying to say. All children do have to write. They should know how to write. They should be writing papers. They should be writing stories, essays, and the likes. Not just a fill in the blank worksheet or a story prompt for, you know, an essay. That's really not sufficient when they can write their own, is what I'm saying. Okay, they should be able to stand alone on their own. No prompts or anything at a certain point. Usually second, third grade, that's when they transition into doing that. So hopefully this was helpful. Ask questions. I know I will have plenty of questions. Ladybug, very nice. And you know, there's a lot to be said on this. There are a lot of homeschool moms that have, you know, been through the writing process. There are a lot of them that are selling their programs. I'm giving you free tips, okay? Free tips. I'm not buying a couple $100 curriculum. It's not necessary. But again, yeah, there are plenty that are selling their tips, you know, in e-courses and e-books and, you know, things like that. But I know that this will help. I know that it's been a stumbling block for many, and I just want to offer up, in short, what I can right here. Be blessed, be encouraged, be patient. Come back and let me know, okay? Come back and let us all know. Go through a week, 2 weeks if you have to. Get the kids started on the narrative, okay? Give it a week to get the first product written, and another day, 2 days to rewrite it, okay? Because by that point they should be familiar. But let me know in the comments. Thumbs up the video. The kids, encourage them. They encourage yours. You know, thumbs up the kids, guys. Peace.